I had to take a break from my cooking to let you know what's going to be happening now. Is a civil war of various kinds are going to break out after the election results are revealed. It doesn't matter which side wins, it's going to break out. And the ones that are controlling this demolition know that. And they have things in place to stop the flow of communication. And they are playing with your money overnight. They're shutting the internet down. I've noticed it several times in Quebec City. And they've done some strange things with my bank account over the last few months. Nothing serious, but enough for me to know that they're doing something. There's work going on behind the scenes. And what they've always wanted and what is best for this cult is your fear. You know, they need your fear in order to keep the game going. And the reason we are in fear, people are in fear, is because they are broken. People are broken. We've lived for a long time evolving the wrong way, evolving toward the Lord of Moses instead of our children. And I'm going to tell you that a flash came to me, and why I picked up my camera here to talk was the chosen ones are children, and children that haven't forsaken their own conscience. And I heard so much noise today about the schools going on with sexualizing children early. And I don't know if you remember or not, but school was already a traumatic place. I sure don't want to talk about sex. I don't want to talk about personal things like that. It's very uncomfortable. I remember, because I'm Christ. And you should too. Remember what it's like to be a child. Remember what it's like what you need as a child. And understand that's what's missing, is mother love is missing from a child's life. It's been taken over by an alpha club that don't like women. And I don't care if you're going to argue with me. That's the whole bottom line here. It's a gender war. It is not a spiritual war. They've split our brain when they told you in the Garden of Eden that women are demonized by God because she bleeds or something. I don't know, Adam's apple, whole bloody story about it, and I don't like it. It's a horror show. And I was told that story when I was 5. And I'm sorry, it really hurt my feelings. And I said, why are they doing that? That's my mommy. That's what I said. Because I remember what it was like to be a child. And I remember the bullshit. And it's going to be the meek, the ones that didn't succeed, that are going to get this far quicker than anybody who's been university educated. It's a done deal. Your beliefs are your beliefs, and how am I going to convince you otherwise? No, I'm not going to. It's the meek, it's the ones that are going to have a parade. Only it won't be a weirdo parade. It'll be a parade. But the meek right now are just the children. You know, they're really the only ones that I care about, in all honesty. And then the ones like me Cannabis and a few others there, Purple. I know you're there, and I know you've suffered. And you've had enough. And that's what's happening. Maybe some women's egos will completely break, like mine did. And they'll start to see, just kind of a society we have running here is where we're replacing mothers and women at university with Greek philosophers. And they're crazy. They're crazy. And they've messed with our hormones. They've messed with our DNA. I'm not the same person that I could be. So as the Civil War breaks out, understand that you don't have a person on your side at the top who owns the military. Men are weak here, and they're very, very weak. And they're weak because they unconsciously hate their mothers, and they don't care. They've given up. They're watching the entertainment life. Football, porn, sci-fi, anything to escape reality, really. That's God's honest truth. They want to escape reality since they were in school or daycare or church or Sunday school, and some asshole came along and told them their mother was dirty. And it embedded in there. And it embedded with her, and she feels dirty. And if you feel dirty, mothers, you're going to act out dirty. You won't care. And that's what they want. They want you not to care. And people think there's no consequences to turning over the conscience of ourselves, the feelings of ourselves, rather than outside God, Moses, and all his 10 commandments. You only need one. Thou shalt have no other gods before thee. That's you. And if you want to give that up and turn it over, it'll be your choice. No one's choosing you. It's a personal choice. And I know it's hard to believe that we are responsible for destroying our own families with our thoughts. Watching television programming that make you think people can mock like that. It's the Mockingbird program. And it worked really well against your mothers. Crazy bitch. You demonize one woman and you've demonized them all. There's no... You can't demonize one without demonizing them all. Because her gifts are so unique to men. Like, no wonder it looks crazy. No wonder it looks insane when she uses her intuition and reads into things. It scares guys, maybe. But it doesn't matter because her intuition's out the door. Unable to read into her children, her sons and her daughters, and see if they're being molested or anything. Unable to raise them herself, her way, and school them herself, her way. Creations are somebody else's. Once the kid's born, the creations belong to someone else. And look at them. I see a bunch of kids running around in a trance, scared to death of their parents, not able to utter a word in this trance. They know it's wrong. I knew what was wrong when I was a child, and children know what's wrong. You're not hiding anything from the children, and they're going to grow up to hate you unconsciously unless you're real with them, honest with them. Forget about Santa Claus. Forget about Jesus Christ Superstar. Do you love me? Get home. Be real with the feelings. Emotions is your energy. The emotion of love is who you are. And if you're not the emotion of love anymore, well, I don't know. I can't help you, and I don't respond very well to you. I gotta be honest. And what I do is I made it's a small chicken. They're coming smaller now. And I couldn't decide what to do because you can either have a roast chicken dinner or chicken stock, because I decided to make the roast dinner with a lot of gravy instead of stock. So I made a slow roast, so I can't redo it for stock. When it's a slow roast, you pretty much suck the good juices out of the bone anyway. And you put it in a big pan that I have over here soaking. And you put it in with celery, carrot, onion, garlic. Put it in frozen after you rub it with some spices. And then you cook it for an hour at high, 450 or so. And then turn it down to 250 for a couple hours. And it'll fall apart. And you'll have an amazing gravy to have with your poutine or anything else you like to. I like to put it in these little containers. I'll make 4 chicken dinners. Freeze them for later, the days I don't want to cook or have no energy, and I'll have it all ready. Put it in the oven. I don't have a microwave in my house. It's not a good idea for me. I'm very radiation sensitive, and I feel I feel myself full of metal and lead. I really do, and I don't know if you can. Sometimes I can taste it in my mouth. So I use hydrochloroquine homemade style. Put it in a mason jar. All you have to do is simmer. I've got a video about it, but you simmer grapefruit peels and lemon peels, tonic water, distilled water, and pine needles if you have some. Simmer that under a closed lid for 3 hours, and then strain it, put it in your fridge, and have half and half with orange juice. That is a power drink. That's like loaded with medicine. And so I take that, and it helps. I also bought some radiation pills from Amazon. You know what? Everything has a consciousness, and everything requires an appreciation. And I was just looking at my little candles there. I never liked them. It was when I first moved into this place. I had nothing. I had to start over. Everything was in British Columbia. I had 2 suitcases, and my friend sent me my dad's hope chest. But there I got this beautiful table set with the little moons. Notice that? That came free. Not a chip in the glass. It's all perfect. Marble, heavy as hell. And I wanted a couple of candles, but I couldn't afford candles at the time, so I got these plastic ones from the dollar store. And put a couple of batteries in each of them. And I felt, and you can do this or you can laugh at me and mock me, I felt a consciousness about them. And I began to imagine that they were my father and son, lit and around me. And I did that because when I first got here, I was a broken woman. I couldn't even speak after what happened to me. I was broken, sitting here by myself in Quebec City, and no one to talk to except my own mind and my guides. And I was able to work through everything. I even had a litter of cats. I feel was part of this, pardon me, part of my journey, where it was these cats, because it's part of Trevor's story. And I literally thought the cats were the spirits of some of my dead relatives. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. All I know is that we don't die and we can hijack bodies. Does that mean we can hijack animal bodies? It could be. Or it could be I'm crazy. But I feel a consciousness in everything. And We all need to come together and just forget about a political party, left or right, and just know that the only one we have to save is Christ. And that's the child within. And that's every child. If the child's still there, we have to let them play, let them be who they are, not who we tell them to be. We have to reject the system entirely, starting in daycare. Why is mother sending her kids to daycare? We have to start over, and you have to be okay with that. I already went through it so that I could teach you how to get through it. You have to be okay with losing everything you ever loved and ever wanted. You have to be okay with that. And then you'll be okay. If you can keep love in your heart after tragedy, a lot of people can't. They're ugly now. They got hurt bad, and now they're ugly. They give up. They give up their feelings and become reptilian. When you give up your feelings and become reptilian, you're doing a lot of damage to your eternal soul. And you have to just be self-aware that that's where we've been put. In the mind, in the imagination of out there, Hollywood. Sure as shit prefer my imagination to the one out there, guys. I'm a lot more fun. I got joy. I know how to make things work. Emotionally. There is no problem so big that can't be fixed. I used to say that all the time. And now I've never been more clear. There is nothing more powerful than the power of love. If we can drop the armor and get down on our knees and appreciate what we've been given here. Instead, we walk into fantasy and we believe in things we can't see or sense or touch or feel for ourselves. We're just told stories and we're led to believe that. And we're told by our parents, you have to believe them. No, you don't have to believe anything outside of yourself. You don't have to believe anything. Empowerment will come when you give up the armor, become more vulnerable to the idea that you're raised retarded. Yeah, sorry. I know, I'm a bad mommy. I sent my son into the gallows. I really did. And it was torture ever since. That's the common denominator, guys. The missing mother, the missing link. And the reason why is because of the weakest link. Men, walking us into the fantasies, keeping the fantasies alive because they don't know how feelings feel. They lost their feelings to Moses. Their conscience, their ideals is rooted deeply. I don't care if they're atheists. They're still raised deeply to hate women, and that includes their mother. And there's no energy in a man who hates his mother. There's no energy in him anymore. So we have to bring them back, and we have to bring everybody back with love. Not with criticism, not condemning, not remembering a story. No, we don't care about the stories now. They don't matter. Those stories don't matter. It doesn't matter how much they ripped you off. It doesn't matter how much they ignored you. You have to bring it back yourself. And if you can't, then your energy is at risk of going out. Only love is real. Only love is remembered. And we can keep coming back, as David Icke says, you know what, that's a fraudulent slip, and I'm just going to leave it there. I'm mad at them because they know what I know about the eye. They are keeping women in artificial womb here. There's some fertility crap going on, a lot of it. And they're keeping men alive using the womb of a woman. But these men shouldn't be alive. Because I'm sure they gave up their soulmate a long time ago. How are they continuing? We can choose our lives. We can pick our people. How are they conscious to it? I don't think they are. There are two worlds going on. There's a spiritual world that you know nothing about. People are going about their business and they're doing it all unconsciously for God. There are so many good people out there unconscious to their soul and probably beating the shit out of themselves like cannabis, right? Good spirits, good souls, just feeling the way they were judged. And that's what happens. We will feel the way we are judged. Like a piece of shit, like garbage, like you don't matter anymore, Nana. That you're crazy because you think there's spirits around you. Oh yeah, you got it all right, guys. The millennials think they're smarter than the average bear. But they're the most easily led to suggestion. They're the most terrorized in early childhood education. And that puts them deeper and deeper and deeper to sleep. You have to come back up and smell the air. It smells like shit. You have to know what's at stake, guys. You have to know what's at stake because love will be born again. Christ will be born again. But there are limits to how many kids you can destroy all in one fell swoop in these last 2 years. I think that's why the beings of light came to me. I think, we're at grave risk of losing it all. We have lost it. We've lost many civilizations for this very same reason. Lack of love. Lack of love, that's the bottom line. Lack of love. Lack of mom. Mom's in the garden again, fooling around with all those 3 boys that she's going to somehow have, that Adam and Eve and 3 sons, right? How does that work out, guys? It doesn't. Eve doesn't have a twin flame. She needs her daughter. But she's not even mentioned. The daughter is not even mentioned. Crazy people, how can you fall for that? But we did. And we get caught up in the moment, and we're in the motion, not in emotion. And people that are asleep really hate me. The more asleep, the more they hate me. The deeper you are, the more you hate me and my words, because they trigger you, because it's sort of like me splashing a little water on that sleep. You don't like it. You like to be comfortable and warm and stay the same. But I'm telling you, it's a dream. Wake up. It's a dream, and it's not your dream. You don't want to go to sleep in the dream. Trust me, it's not your dream. Go in your own dream with your own feelings, your own family, and realize what you have, not what you don't have. Be okay with losing absolutely everything. Be okay with it. You will find things to do. I was going to find something here that I was going to show you. That I'm going to collect things. Like, I think there's so much waste here. I think there's so much waste to our... we could make things out of that. Like, you can make things out of anything. But you have to want to. And you have to have nothing. You can't go buy it over at the store. Macy's. Sears. We have to start over. We have to start over now. In the mind. Get yourself prepared. That's what I'm sure the beings of light did for me and to pass on for you, to prepare your hearts, because you are a sensitive one. You are a sensitive one if you're a woman. And if you're a woman, you want to bring your sons home. The only way we can bring our sons home is if they love us and they want to be born to us again. If they don't, they're coming back here. And I feel and I sense the spirit of women are not until this is blown over. If it doesn't happen right now, where the psychopaths go all in and it blows up into Third World War and destroys the whole idea of Moses, if that doesn't happen by us, by our hand, then it'll happen by way of women leaving the building. And it'll be artificial intelligence until it blows up. It'll be blow-up dolls. It'll be pod living. And nothing, no appreciation for life, for nature, for God, for no, just a robot. That's what they're making. That's what they're creating with your university mothers, is robots. So bring them home with love, and bring Dad home with love. Make it unconditional. And then maybe you'll feel the same, you'll get the same back, you know? Unconditional love. Imagine that.